Hey, good morning. I'd like to welcome you to Break Through Walls. I am Ken Walls, I'm your host, and we are rolling just a little bit different today. I have a very special guest on today. Her name is Denice Duff. Denice is a very good friend of mine and an amazing woman. So I'll be adding her to the stream. We're doing this via this way because Denice is traveling out of town and we got to make this work. So I will be bringing Denice on as soon as she pops on. Hey, Chuck, there's Becky. Robert C. Stern is in the house. How are you guys doing? So Denice will be joining here in just a minute. Hey, Becky, I love her too. She's amazing, isn't she? So she'll be on here in just a second. I was just chatting with her, so let's give her a second to join the stream. And I think, let's see here. Let's see here if she's on yet. There she is. There's Denice. Let's see. Denice, how do I add you here, Denice? Let's see. There we go. Add. Bring the camera. There we go. Denice!
Ken!
Oh, look at you. How are you?
You know what makes me so happy? When you see me, that your eyes disappear. And I have to say, you're not the only one that I do that to. But I digress. But I just love enthusiastic greetings. And you have one that is just in the top 10 of my life.
Oh, well, thank you for that. I adore you. I love you. You're amazing. And I'm so grateful that you, you're traveling. You're in LA, right?
Yes, I am. I'm in this freaking gorgeous suite here in LA. Come on.
Look at that. Wow. Wow.
Right?
So
I'm roughing it.
I really appreciate you jumping on this interview because I know that you're a very busy lady. Did you see the post I tagged you in last night? I'm like, she's an actress, she's a movie star, she's a professional.
I saw you had tagged me, and I literally was in the middle of handling some allergic reaction that I got in my eye at about 10:30 LA time. And it was, there's just still, it's kind of gross. And so I'm like, oh, he tagged me. I guess we're on. Denice, get to bed, put in eye drops. I didn't even look at it until this morning when it was still awful. And one of my girlfriends, Julie Michaels, was just, and she broke out all the right eye drops. She had the soft eye pack. She threw out the curlers. She gave me lashes. Like literally an hour ago, I looked like on my face the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now I just look like kind of. Good morning.
You look beautiful. You look beautiful. Okay. So, and I've had your husband on this show, and as you and I both know, that dude is amazing as well. He's incredible. He's incredible.
I did one woman show. I did this one. He's incredible. I did this one woman show a couple years ago at CBS Studios here in LA. And, and I talked about the first half of my 25 years that not as many people know about. And these just heart-wrenching Italian stories of life. And I got to the part of Michael, I said, and I had a big screen of visuals that I would. A cartoon of olive
Denice,
oil.
Can you hear me?
She was sleepwalking in a construction.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear?
You're freezing up. It's like a lot. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, it's freezing up. There you are. Nope, it's frozen again. Um, Facebook gets a little wonky. Gets a little wonky sometimes. There, you're back. You're back. Can you see me?
Do you?
You're frozen. Are you there?
I can totally see you. Is it me?
Oh, there, you're
Now,
back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, you're back, I think. Yep.
Get better.
It was perfect there for a minute. There. I think we're back.
Is that any better?
I think so, but it's still freezing here and there. It's very pixelated. Yeah, you're frozen again. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Are you there? Yeah, it's frozen. What's that? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. It's bad.
No.
Um,
What I'll do is, want me to just go on straight internet? Do you want me to
are
sign
you on
off?
Wi-Fi? Are you on
I am
Wi-Fi
on.
right now?
Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi right now.
It could be that.
How
I
is it
don't
now?
know. It's good right now, actually. It's
Okay.
perfect right now.
Okay. We like perfect.
Yeah, we do. So, all right, let's just roll. The show must
Let's
go
roll.
on.
That's it. Oh my gosh. And I've conducted so many. I did a whole Christmas countdown of like celebrity actress girlfriends, and I did them all on Facebook Live. And I pretty much had to break their Facebook Live hymen because none of them had ever really done it. And I'm like, turn your phone this way, you know.
That is a beautiful place you're in, though. What is that, a house?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yes. Wow. Very nice.
They're actors and producers. And so, you know, when Hollywood pays off, it pays well.
Yeah, I reckon it does. Look at that. So, well, first off, thank you for coming on. And you know, this show that I've created, it's called Breakthrough Walls. It's to
Eric, by the way, who's Eric Cornelius, and he's busting your chops.
He always is. I turned off comments because I saw he came on. It's distracting. I don't need distractions. So you know, so this show's about helping people get unstuck. They get stuck in life, and I think that we've all been there at one point or another. You have, like I know you pretty well, and I know you've been through the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs, and had to figure it out. So, you know, I think that you have an incredible message. I've heard you talk so many times, and you're amazing. So, you know, what I'd like to do is kind of start with where you were born and raised.
Oh, do people care about that? All right.
They do.
Well, yeah, it's true. It's actually one of the first things I ask people as a photographer when I'm talking to them, you know. So I usually don't really talk about that. I'm from Long Island, New York, and my family decided to up and move when I was 6, and we moved to Los Angeles. And my mom was interested in the entertainment industry. She was interested in the arts, and but we got to LA, and it was tougher than she thought. And my Dad became a little bit of a douchebag, and so they split up. You know, where you feel it's okay to like sleep around with a lot of women and be married. You know.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Right, right. And so they split up, and so now she's, you know, single mom, 2 kids. We were like 8 and 9, my brother and I, and she would actually send us in the summers back to Long Island with my rich aunt and uncle, where we spent time fishing and boating and clamming and crabbing um, and because what did you do in the sort of 70s and 80s for summer vacations with kids, you know?
Right.
And it was just, I don't know, there didn't seem to be like inexpensive full-time year childcare, you know? You had
Yeah.
family members that would hook with you, but there we had no family in LA. So I would spend my summers there. And until I was
And
18, then I decided I wanted some more New York, and I went to NYU. No, first I went to UCLA, engineering major. What the what?
what?
Full scholarship. Graduated valedictorian, full scholarship to UCLA.
Wow.
And I thought, well, I knew I wanted to be an artist, but I thought, I've got a full scholarship to a really good school. I'm not going to sort of, I felt I was wasting it on doing the drama department. Okay, this is the silly opinion. No one has to agree with it. But I was living in LA, and I thought there were a lot of acting schools that I could go to. But if I'm going to a university, I should get skills I can't get elsewhere. Well, after the second semester, I saw my classmates, and I realized they didn't get my jokes. And they didn't get my stories, and of course engineering back then wasn't as creative as engineering is now. You know,
Right.
like now you're in an engineering class, you're with gamers, and you're with it's just more, there's more creative outlets for it, but it wasn't so much then. And so I transferred. I thought, whatever I do for a living, I need to enjoy the people around me. They need to get me. And so I transferred to New York University. I said, I want to go where they wear black and smoke clove cigarettes and drink cappuccino. I didn't smoke clove cigarettes, but it's just that whole vibe.
Right.
And so I went to NYU, and I studied directing and photography and stage design. And yeah, one of my classmates who I would use in all of my scenes was a guy named Bennett Miller. And he was so great to work with because he made me look good. Like you're given a page of dialogue of gibberish, and you need to make something of it. It's kind of an analogy for life. And I will say that it was harder than my chemical engineering class, because at least with the chemical engineering class, I sometimes cheated. You could write the formula on your sneaker. Like it had definite answers. But in your artistic classes, you had to draw inspiration from your gut, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there was no look at the back of the book and see it's XY to the pi squared to the titrated solution, and bing, there's your answer. It's like, if you had no inspiration of what to do with these 11 sentences, you were screwed, you know. And how do you get that inspiration? And I don't use drugs or alcohol or, you know, not that. And it's like, you know, I really squeezed from my heart and soul messages, you know. And I always, I didn't want to rely on, like, you know, the cliche, life is tough and oh, he turns into a homeless person, or, you know, I wanted my own unique upward spirit of life, you know. Even then I felt like people need to be happier and not be made to, you know, be something.
That was one of the things, like, and you know, we're both friends with David and Sonny Jensen, and I saw, that's how I met you, was through Sonny. You and Sonny were somewhere in LA on a live stream, maybe on Periscope or something, and I'm like, wow, this chick has got some serious energy. So I started following you, and then like the very next stream, I see like you're in your house in LA, and you've got a crossbar across this doorway, then you're doing pull-ups and chin-ups and I'm like, oh my, and you're live streaming it, and I'm like, this chick is good, like this, I love this. This is freaking amazing. Like you just have this incredible energy, and I love that about you. And and so, you know, what is it though that like as a child, was there anything that influenced or kind of guided you into what you became as an adult? Because I know you became a very accomplished actress, and you've been on I don't even know how many soap operas and in movies and all of that, and like what influenced that? Do you know?
Well, you know, I certainly, it's interesting that Gary Vaynerchuk is writing, you know, his book called Perfectly Parented, right? He talks about, I don't think it's out yet. And I think about that, and I think that I certainly was raised around so much freaking love. And like, I feel like if I don't succeed, like that's a pussy move, Denice. Like if I complain about anything, I'm a jerk. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't say like, oh, well, I'm a woman. I've been like, no, like if I could never do something, it had nothing to do with anything but my own persistence to keep going. And, you know, I'm not like unattractive. I'm not like super broke. I'm not like, I can't really fall back on any damn excuse. And the interesting thing is that people who do have all of those quote unquote hardships, if they really want something, they blow me out of the water. You know, like I hobnob with some of the most amazing famous people, and they came from some dark shit. Is it okay I say that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like I almost sometimes think, God, like I need to have some like harsh things happen, you know, like if ever I feel less inspired, you know, and I'll tell you, both my husband and I started to feel like we got a little bit comfortable in LA doing what we were doing, that we needed to kind of self-propel a new chapter, because you can get very comfortable in things. I mean, we lived in the same home that we owned for 23 years, you know, and it's very tough to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
We get very attached to stuff. And but we knew that when we think of joy, it wasn't necessarily the four walls. It was it's what we imbued in it. It was the parties that we had in it. It was the collaborations, and it was doing the pull-ups in that doorway. But that could have happened in any doorway. It wasn't the doorway that made you remember it. It was my desire to inspire 49-year-olds to like work out, and you can do that anywhere. And we started to feel that we were getting a little comfortable, and I, you know, I stopped using Periscope so much, you know, and then it became like popular. Interesting. So that's why we decided to just, you know, our daughter moved out. We decided to just sell the house and move to New York and have less stuff and more adventure. And because it is amazing, you know, the older you get, the more things you have to do to your house, the more it can kind of strangle you a little bit. And yet when you still have entrepreneurial energy, and when you still have purposes that you want to get out there in the world big time, we had to look at what were the small things that we were doing. I'm like, really? I'm making my husband go fix the water heater so we could save $200. That's not a good use of Mr. Duff's time.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And I just started looking at like, oh, I'm doing some of the same things. I'm going to the same house every Sunday night, and we do the same blah, blah, blah. And these people know me, and they're doing really well. They don't need, when I say they don't need me, I mean, I need to get out and reach and help more people, right? Like that's when we feel the best, because we're helping more, you know. And it's funny, it seems selfish. It's like, because I like to go to bed at night knowing that, you know, I got 15 Facebook messages from someone who said, I have to tell you, I've lost 23 pounds this year because I decided to juice more or eat more spinach instead of more French fries. Or, you know, one of
Yeah.
my dorky ass videos inspired someone to be more fun with their kid or lose, you know, be a little healthier. You know, it's
Yeah.
not always like weight. Um, that just, it makes me a blubbering idiot of joy.
You are one of the most joyful people. I met you in person in Miami at the first 10X Growth Conference. And I remember you grabbed my face and you're like, oh my God, you're real. I'm like, in that Italian.
I want to grab it now.
I was like, oh my God. And so like, I'll never ever forget my first um, impression of you was those chin ups in that doorway. Like, even though I'd seen you with Sunny, like that still is like my first impression.
And we should make a point of that, because I will tell you there were maybe only like 50 people on that feed at that time.
Yeah.
And 40 of them stay in touch with me because of that very action. So note to the viewers, do something outrageous but in the healthy, not hurting others arena.
Right.
You know, but bring people into your life. You know, social media, it's social, and there's not a gosh darn thing wrong with social. You know, I was listening again to a Gary Vee thing, and he it was a younger group of millennials, and they were saying, well, you know, people get in trouble because of this and it ruins people's lives, and he just kept going back to, it's not this format or this communication via that's ruining lives. It's what the person's doing and saying.
Yes.
You know?
Amen.
And you know, no matter what, you can be, you know, a miserable, evil jerk, and maybe just your immediate town and village and family will know, or you can put that out in the world and then everybody will know. But it doesn't change you. It didn't make you more of a jerk or less of a jerk, you know?
Right.
But conversely, if you've got some joy and humor, aw, Leslie, thank you. Oh my gosh, Leslie, I'm just kissing you to death. If you
What did she say? I missed it.
She said that I'm one of the most beautiful souls she's ever encountered on this planet.
I totally agree with her. Why am I? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I totally agree with her.
I'm so passionate that if you have something good to say, you have to be loud about it. We have to be louder than the complainers, than the politics, than the snarky, like, okay, can somebody be driving better on the freeway? Who cares about that kind of tweet or post? You know,
right?
We really want to see the joy, you know. And some people are like, oh, well, you know, Facebook, you know, it's about kids graduating, or it's, you know, it's about, and I'm like, yeah, and what the hell's wrong with that? You know, and if that bores you, then put some of your own joy. What's joyful for you? And if you don't have anything joyous, then bingo, right? Then it kind of sheds a little light on, if you don't have something awesome to share, that's kind of important to know about.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
And
I agree.
We can talk ourselves into, well, I just like to play small, and I don't want this, or I don't want that. But you don't know the capacity of joy that you can have until you kind of push out of that.
Well, so, you know, and it took you, I'm assuming that, and I hate to assume, so I won't assume. Growing up, were you from a very wealthy family?
Oh God, we were on food stamps.
Oh God, okay. So you
I mean, not forever, but like soon as the divorce happened, you know, and I was 11 years old pushing shopping carts to the supermarket because you'd get a quarter for every like 3 shopping carts. So that's what I did. Oh, when I bring Carrie the pizza. Yes, I did do that. I did do that. I got to admit. Um, so my mother had this phrase of make use of the free facilities. So I'm the girl that when I go to a hotel, I'm like, I'm taking that shampoo and the shower cap. I'm using that hair dryer. And
That's
I'm
funny.
making sure to use whatever facility is there.
Yeah.
But that also means when I go to a party, I make sure to bring a hostess gift. I make sure to talk to as many people there as who I don't know. I make sure to stay all. And when I go to a sports game, I don't leave early just because I don't want to deal with the traffic in the parking lot. Like,
Yeah.
unless like I've got a sick family member that I have to run to, what's an extra freaking hour of my sleep in comparison to a sporting event or a music concert that I saved up for and drove to, and I'm going to leave just because I don't want to deal with traffic. So in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm always looking at the complete experience of whatever I'm around, which is why when I'm in New York City, hello, Scott Walker, who's Scott is a beautiful man.
That's awesome.
He's the owner of our pizza place, and you could
Wow.
tell when I acted a lot more. I always seem to get cast in these crime shows. I would have to cry. Like literally, they'd give me the script and they're like, "We think you might be better for this role," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'd look at it, and it's, whatever it was. My sister was my best friend, and boom, and they're like, "Okay, you got the part. You got the part." No, Scott to me is such a true a little microcosm of life for me, because my husband and I, we sold our house, we handed the key, and we got on a red eye, and we landed in New York with no place to live. Literally, I'm in the airport going, "Honey, we're homeless. We're homeless."
Oh my God.
And it's not even like I could say we're homeless, but we have that home in Maine and we have the summer home in France. Like, no, there was nothing. And
Wow.
and we landed in New York. All of our stuff was still in storage in LA, getting ready to be driven in a truck once we found a place. Yes, I do live in the moment. Ooh, I do. And we go to a pizza place that was right by where our first apartment appointment was, because we were early. And we go in this tiny place, no bigger than my friend's closet here. And we order a slice. And the guy behind the bar says, "Where you from?" Like, I guess we just stood out. We said, "Oh, we're from California. We just sold our house there." He's like, "Oh." And we said, "We're looking for an apartment." He's like, "Oh, where?" We said, "Oh, we're going to look next door." "It's a little young. You don't get as much bang for your buck there. Come outside." He walks us outside. He points to an apartment. He's like, "Check out the Ohm. You get a little more there. It's nice. Or across the street here, my building." I'm like, "Oh, cool. What's your name?" "Scott. Nice to meet you." So we went and looked at that. I loved it. We continued over 4 days to look at 34 other apartments in the Chelsea area. So fun. I mean, come on. It's like, the TV show Selling New York.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if that's you. Imagine if you're getting to go in and look at all these places, knowing at the end of the show you're going to get one.
Right.
It'd be nice if they gave it to you.
Yeah.
So, and in New York, it's easy to do that because there may be 2 or 3 in one building, and then you go 2 blocks over another. So it was exhilarating. And then we'd stop for Dunkin' Donuts in between each showing. Another story. And and at the end of 5 days and 34 apartments, the one that we went with was the one that our sweet pizza guy, Scott Walker, recommended. And he has since become a dear friend. We've gone to his apartment for barbecues. He's come to so many of my husband's Rusty Truck shows. And that's New York. It's like you make time for human beings to bring that new experience to you.
I tried to connect with you guys the day I was out there, and it didn't work out. But like I'd flown into JFK and LaGuardia, but I'd never been in the city until that day. And I drove out there because I had to drive through PA to stop somewhere else. And I'll never, ever, ever forget, because I had this thought that New York, everybody was nasty and mean and hateful, and that I was going to get mugged no matter where I was. You know, and I was on
Right.
Madison Avenue, and I'm thinking I'm parking my car in this garage, and I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna bust into my car and steal all my stuff, and I'm gonna get mugged walking down Madison here. Oh God, and
Not the new improved New York.
it's not even close to that. I was
No.
like, oh my God, the people are so nice. I've
Yeah,
never been.
Ken, it's almost a cliche how much people say to me, you know, when I was in New York recently, and like it's really friendly. I'm like, I know. Like
It
it's like
is.
that old thing. It's so I started saying it's so 70s. Come on, like where you been? Of course, New York is the greatest. That's why it's so freaking crowded, because it's awesome. You know?
It really is. So let me ask you this. You know, people do, including me. You know, we all do dumb things in life, and end up that end up causing us unnecessary pain, or causes us to get stuck. What do you think, in your opinion, in your travels? What do you think the biggest mistake is that people make, that get them caught up, that get them stuck?
Definitely one can get caught up if you're looking at other people's lives and other people's stories. Um, and I have to say, you know, watching too much of the wrong social media, um, and it's very much, if I find myself starting to go, oh, look at the, like, because I'm in New York now, right? And most of my life was in LA, and I'm like, oh, look, she went to that red carpet. If I was there, I would have been able to. And then I start to go down, and it's so fast. Our very loud, creative minds can just go. And so you just have to stop looking at that. Like it takes discipline. It's not, don't try and go, oh, I'm going to be strong and I'm not going to let it bother you. If you know it bothers you, then just turn the radio on. Listen to, like, I literally have, I say, Alexa, play happy music.
Oh,
did you hear that?
mine just started. Alexa, stop.
No.
you just initiated mine.
I also do this. Wait, Alexa, who's the man?
She didn't hear you that time. Try it again.
Alexa, who's the man?
She said, "You the man." I have returned weight.
Yep. Mine, she used to say, you are. Now she says, you the man.
Yeah, that's funny.
So you really, Scott, that's great. You have, and I'll tell you, that's actually another good analogy. Is I work the best when I'm laughing and I'm in a good mood.
Yep.
And sometimes it means walking out of my apartment and talking to my doorman, where I can make an effect on him, and if I can make someone laugh, I feel, okay, that's part of my purpose. And then I feel like less of a loser. You know, it's these tiny little things that cloud us and then start us on that dwindling spiral down. And it is vital that we don't go there. And so, yes, I'll listen to music. I love liquid B12. I'm a big fan of B12. I know, look at you, you went, huh?
Is the vitamin?
The vitamin B12. It's in a lot of these energy drinks, but you get all that other weird stuff in it, like the sugars and the caffeines. But the B12, it's super great, because sometimes, you know, if you haven't slept well or rested or eaten well, you get drained, and it's like you start to get unnecessarily the blues. And it's just, you just need B vitamins. B12, really? Ladies and gentlemen, just go onto Amazon and order. I love the liquid, and I just shoot it. Look, really? Someone's giving me hearts on that. Yep.
B12. Wow.
B12. And it's usually like cherry flavored or pink or red, or sometimes you can get the chewables. Make sure it's either chewable or liquid.
On it.
Yeah.
We're on it.
And then if if you're trying to get something done and you can put some music on, a great spirit lifter. If you need to get out and talk to someone, the group of people that you are around, man, you know, I know we're bored of hearing that, but that environment makes a huge difference. And I even experienced, even in New York, I could stay in my apartment for days and not really have human interaction, and it's the worst on my soul for that.
Yeah.
And you know, and the thoughts that come through like are very real, so I could really give it a lot of credibility. But trust me, it's BS. You know,
Yeah.
because just quickly, like if someone then handed you $10,000 check, all of a sudden you would feel awesome, which
Yeah.
is proof that you're really not, there's nothing really wrong with you. You know,
Right.
if and all money is energy, right? It's called
Yeah.
currency because it's a current, it's a
Yeah.
flow. Currency is an energy flow. And sometimes I'll just think of money, right? I'll just think that my account has 10 extra thousand in it. And all of a sudden I stand up a little straighter. I'm not
Yeah.
sweating the small stuff. But what's that doing? It's putting me in a better place. And it
Yeah.
could even be something as simple as like, you know, oh, I mean, I do like to walk a lot in New York. I did walk a fair amount here in Burbank. And my friend was like, wait, you walked from Starbucks all the way here? Like nobody would ever do that. But in New York, it's like 3 long avenues, you know?
Yeah. Right.
And I needed to get my steps up. But I knew that the walking and looking at the trees was really important for me. And I need to keep that up. And, wait, what was I saying about, I forgot. I need a B12 shot.
I love that. So you're like like, is your arm getting tired yet?
I'm so sorry. No. Yes, no. It's not getting tired. It's just not as steady as I would like it to be.
It's great. And I appreciate you doing this. I really do. And I like, you know, I know that, you know, I've called you before and said, hey, I don't know how to handle this, blah, 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 blah. And you and Michael have said, well, hey, do this. And I've done that and it worked. And so I look at both of you as sources of incredible wisdom. And you know, because you are. And so, you know, for me, like I try to think, okay, there are people in this world everywhere. There's 7.5 billion people on this planet. As you know, this is going on excuse me, Binge TV, which you have a channel on Binge Networks TV
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
And this is about inspiring people to freaking stop staying stuck. Stop
Yeah.
staying stuck. You don't have to stay stuck. And I
Yeah.
know that you've been there. You've been there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've been there. But what is the number one piece of advice? Somebody calls you up and they're like, Denice, I'm stuck and I don't know how to get through this. What's the first thing you would tell them to do?
Oh, wow. Wow. Gosh, I am a big fan of getting out and taking a walk. I really am, because
Yeah.
if they call and they're right in the middle of it, like,
Yeah.
if you know, and I have had that where someone is called and they're crying and they're, you know, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go, you know, and I'll make them just, let's go walk. Tell me what you're looking at, you know, just start. I just need them to stop thinking about that thing, because thinking about that thing doesn't handle it, right?
Right.
And then super important to be writing down what is, like, think creatively of the what ifs. Like, what if you had your own syndicated show podcast, right? What if Fox didn't cancel your show?
Right.
What if Fox first picked up your show and then canceled it 5 years later?
Right. Right.
Like, I love to have someone to dig deep and go, just tell me, like, what if, like, what if you had the best relationship where the dude would massage your feet in the morning after bringing you a cappuccino? Like, just start riffing creatively. And I'll tell you, it's even hard for people to do that now, because we're afraid if we just think big like that, that someone's going to go, please, please.
Right.
You know, it takes a lot of time to have that happen. It's like, well, take time out of the equation and just start writing down what those things are. Like, and it's embarrassing sometimes. Like, I want to own all the handheld tripods and have it trademarked. Denice Duff's tripods that don't shake. Or, you know, it's like, all right, that's crazy. A million other people are doing it, but write that down on your list. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I want to make my own blender. I want to have my own, like, just because what it's doing is it's just forcing you to put your mind into the creative basket, because the blues basket is very full and we don't need to give it any more attention, because, you know, you get what you put your attention on. And if you only put your attention on the debt and the bills, what do you get? More debt, more bills.
And
So
there are scores, there are volumes written about that, the law of attraction and all of that stuff, right? And I totally agree with you. So the first thing is get outside, get out and walk and focus on other things. Look at the birds and the trees, and
That's
so that would be the very first thing.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
To not have any communication with people who you're nervous to have it with, you know, like people will actually still continue giving some of their deep sort of talks to people that they're afraid of what they're going to hear back. You know what? Well, then don't talk to that person.
Right.
You know, you feel obligated to be around certain people or share certain things. Don't. You know, there are times where I'm like, I'm bummed as crap. So what I'll do is I will do something really, Reagan Reynolds, I love. Like, I will use Facebook to get me in a freaking good mood. There are times where I have done Facebook Lives where I literally, I mean, this time I had the whole sty, but there are times where I've just come from bawling my brains out because I was so bummed out about whatever, losing some gig or, you know, some hormonal midlife crisis crap, you know? And because I'll tell you, as a woman, when your kid moves out, your game is a little less. Unfortunately, I love my husband so much, but you know, it's one of the reasons why there's so much damn divorce after kids go to college is, and especially with a woman, because we're so geared toward helping the survival of that person along with us and along with our husbands. And so when you take out a third of our activity, it's very much like a military that come home. You know, they had a purpose that was so stellar, high goal, saving a life. And that's a lot of what parenting is. You're just making sure every day they don't eat glass, you know, and they don't fall out of the window. I mean, that's the main thing, you know, just don't eat glass, baby, don't fall out of a window. And everything I would do every day is to just ensure that.
Don't eat glass. I don't think I've ever said that to my children. I just assumed they knew. I bet now see, I'm paranoid. I better tell them both today.
Yes.
I'm kidding. So
when you don't have that anymore, the blues can set in, and you've got to give yourself really big fun activities, you know, and that again, it's a discipline thing, because you could go, well, you know, I'm this, or, you know, and you don't understand, and I come from a family. Okay, well then just put a post-it that says, and now what? Right? Like, well, you know, my hormones are low, and, you know, my rent is due, and, you know, and I picked up and I moved, and now I don't have a backyard to do my creations in. And okay, and now what? And now what are you going to do?
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Holy crap, I love that.
It just sort of ends cycle on the blah, blah, blah. And kind of forces you into a future thing. And I have to say, I'm constantly inspired by people who have had such a tough journey. like I said, it makes me feel like such a pussy if I ever complain, you know?
Oh my gosh, you
Like
crack me up.
if you have good enough Wi-Fi to be watching this feed, you're like head and shoulders above a lot of this planet, you know?
Oh my gosh, yes. That is so true. So true.
I mean,
If you
even the
woke up
homeless
with a
in
roof
New
over
York,
your head.
yeah, yeah. If you got a roof over your head, your heart's beating, you know? But
Yeah.
you really have to concentrate on the stuff that brings you joy, you know?
Yep.
And you got to take some time, just like get those yellow pads, get the freaking yellow pad. Grant
Yeah.
Cardone is so brilliant at that.
Yeah.
And, you know, he writes down, and even if it's the same thing, even if every day you're writing, you know, I want $1 million in my bank account. I want to have purchased, you know, I want my purchase a home for my daughter. I'd like to purchase an apartment that one unit is just for my studio. Like, just write it down, and then the next day, turn the page over and write that stuff down again. And then if it changes a bit, I want a Spanish style 5-bedroom, you know, 5-unit apartment that I'm an investor in, and
Yeah.
and I want to have, you know, and then turn the next day, and then throw them all away. You don't have to do anything significant with it, but by getting it out of your head and onto paper, you know, because we know the things we want, like, oh, I want to get my roots done. You're thinking about that. It's not stressing you out, but every time you look in the mirror, you know that Wednesday I'm going to do my roots. And what happens Wednesday? You freaking do your roots, no matter what.
Right.
So it's just like lunch, you know. I know I'm going to eat lunch. I'm going to make the time for it. Well, why? Because I'm going to make the time for it, you
I
know.
love that.
And we're as busy as crap, but we will, whether we have to do a drive-through, whether we have to grab some stuff out of the fridge, but we're going to do it. And it's the same exact thought process and discipline on those things as it is these things that we complain that we're not doing.
Yeah.
So you just have to make them as important, because that's where sanity comes from. It's not like we're born sane or we inherited sanity, you know. It's from
Right.
it's from overcoming obstacles and achieving goals.
Well, and that's, you know, like most people I think experience life from right here, from their eyes, and they just see what's going on out there, and they may get into, but you experience life, you feel life in everything that you do, you feel it. That's why you're talking about your pizza buddy, like, and you emote, you feel life. That's what's, I think, and that's what I love about people like you. And I have a bit of envy, because, like, I try to feel life most of the time, but sometimes I know it's still surface. Right?
Yeah,
So,
and you know what? And that's like, I don't want to say the fake it till you make it, but you do have to, like, in your head, you're like, wow, I should be really happy right now for this person who just got this thing, you know, but I'm actually jealous as all F, right? Have you ever experienced that? Where, like,
oh
and I'm like,
yeah,
wow, everything just comes easy to that person. I'm like, woohoo, you know? And I will still, I'll congratulate, and because there's a part of me that doesn't, well, look, we're getting little likes there. There's
yeah,
this part of me that gets like, really, they got that, but it does me no good to linger in that, and I can push past that by waxing on some happiness for it,
right.
because it's just better karma, you
Yes, it
know.
is.
And it keeps me a little younger. Like, the more resentful and jealous I get, that's the quickest way to age. And
Oh
you
yeah.
know, it really is. Like, when people go, how is it that, you know, that you look so good for your age or your skin? And I'm like, you got to live honestly, and
Yeah.
don't lie, and just be in great communication and do activities that you like. Don't defer
Yes.
the joy of life. Don't defer the joy of life.
I love
Especially,
that.
yeah,
Wow, I love that.
especially if you're, you know, if you're over 40, you know, it's like, gosh, you got to just start saying yes to those things,
I'm gonna
and
be
leaning
50. Next month.
Yeah, you're an old fucker. I love it. Is this part of your celebration countdown to that?
You know, I'm excited to be 50. I feel like people are going to start taking me serious.
You don't need a number of people to take you serious. You're freaking rad.
Oh, you rock. I love you. So let me ask you this. Like, you've been through it all. Are you allowed to talk about some of the soap operas and shows you've been on?
Oh, well, yeah. It's funny. The one that the episode I just filmed for Days of Our Lives I filmed it in December and it's airing in June. So this is actually, I have to find out the exact air date, but it's airing this month.
Wow.
I replayed a character that I played 2 years ago. It was just for an episode or two. And,
Wow.
you know, I was on Young and Restless for a couple of years almost as Mackenzie's mom, Amanda, Brock's. Well, I don't know if I was Brock's wife. I don't know if we were officially married. Maybe we were. Anyway, Mrs. Cooper's daughter-in-law. So my character was Amanda. And that was awesome. You know, it's like a 9-to-5 job when you're on a soap opera. You have this nice sort of time frame and
Wow.
But I'll tell you, I was sort of more excited when they'd say cut and I'd get to talk to the crew. I freaking loved the crew, right? I would be like, oh, how are you doing? How's your kid? How's your, you know, because as an actress, you it can be a very solitary profession. And when you do a guest starring role, like, you know, I was on Matlock or CSI Miami or Northern Exposure. And
wow. I used to love that show.
Oh, isn't that awesome? Yeah, I got to do my scenes with John Corbett. What a lovely, lovely dude. And it was in that he lived in this motorhome on the show, and it started raining while we were filming, so the crew went under a tent, and I got to just stay in the motorhome with John Corbett, and we chatted for about an hour while it was raining. He was sweet. He said, he goes, you know, if I didn't make it as an actor, he goes, I would just still be doing construction. He goes, I never expected any of this. Like, he's just such a dude, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You've done a lot. And so what and this might be a great segue moment, but what's going on now and what's next for Denice?
Well, Denice is certainly enjoying selling her face cream in your face cream, which I have.
See that? See that little tiny spot right there?
Yeah.
It's getting lighter. I use your in your face cream, and I'm telling you, it freaking works. It rocks.
It really does, because it is. I tell people, I don't know if it's going to. I wanted to find the jar, but I don't want to lose Wi-Fi. I tell people that it's made 100% natural, and a lot of companies are, you know, they'll tell you it's got vitamin C and it has sea buckthorn and it has ylang ylang, but what they don't tell you is that it's full of glycerin and it's full of dimethicone and it's full of cetyl butyl alcohol, and it's just full of tons of chemicals. And I've had several friends who said that who know people who have passed on of cancer, that they really felt that it had a lot to do with a lot of the toxic products that they put on your face. And you don't, of course, no one's ever going to say that, like, oh, we're using toxic chemicals. Right. But when you look at it, you can't pronounce it. And it's the same ingredients that are used to make rubber tires or, you know, lacquer paint. And so, you know, it's not cheap because it doesn't have anything you can't pronounce. And I tell people it's kind of like iceberg lettuce. Okay, iceberg lettuce is not going to kill you, but it's not going to heal you. And something like dimethicone, you know, it's that clear, slippery texture that feels so good. It eventually can clog and dry your skin, but like over time. But the other thing is, it's not actually helping. It has nothing in it that can repair that dark spot. Right. So I look at it like I said, iceberg lettuce. You can eat it your whole life as your only vegetable, and you're not going to die, but it's not going to give you the nutrients.
Right.
Like, and why would you want to do something that is only going to give you a 0.1% chance of improving yourself, when you can have spinach and kale, get that over with, and then go have pizza because you've given your body nutrition.
Right.
Right. So
right.
I look at a lot of these other skincare products. It's like, oh, it's just like, it's either on the bad side for you, eventually drying you out because it's these chemicals kind of sit in there, or it's just not, it's not fast enough effective. And I don't know about you, but you know, us women, we want to see results quick without having to do a knife. Although one day I think I might do a little something. I always talk about that.
You don't, as of now, you definitely don't need it.
As of now, thank you.
This
So
cream really, it really is. It's, I've never used face cream in my life, ever. Never, ever, never one time ever. And Michael, your husband, was talking about it on, maybe it was your live stream or his, I don't know, but he was talking about that he uses it. And, you know, my face gets really, it gets wonky after shaving. You know, I shave every day just about. And, you know, I'm telling you, I started using that stuff, and I don't know. I think I look a little bit younger. I think, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh no, it can't not do that. It can't not help you.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So just if anyone's interested, I mean, you can get on Amazon. It's twice as much on Amazon, because of a whole retailing thing that we have going on that we're in. Yeah, we got some stuff. So just email me and I'll send you a special link.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, not email me, but just put a comment. Put a comment about face cream in your face. It's called In Your Face Cream, but just say, send me a link for the cream, and I will do that.
How did you name it?
The way I named it was, I was looking for something really like elegant and sophisticated, you know, of my Mediterranean past, you know, Mediterranean magic, or, you know, a la luna, or Sicilia, you know, I'm Sicilian, and this is very inspired by my Italian family. And I came to LA, and I was working with this branding guy. He's young, he was like 28, and he wanted to help me out with some stuff, you know. He really liked the social media that I do. And so we're at a hipster cafe, Intelligentsia in Los Feliz. He's got his laptop open. It was so cliche. It was awesome. And like, that's the thing. Even when I'm doing those things, I'm actually outside of my body looking at it. And I'm like, look at, I'm with the bicyclers that are the hipsters. Like, this is a set from a movie, you know? Like, I still never really think I'm in this life doing it, you know? But so there I am, back into the body, scene 2. And we're at his laptop, and, you know, he's even got the man bun. It's perfect. And I'm telling him the names, and we're on Pinterest looking at other types of creams in this sort of arena, healthy creams. And he's like, Denice, he goes, we got to think of something more for your personality. You know, I mean, Mediterranean magic. I mean, we need, you know, you're such an in-your-face kind of girl. And I said, oh, what should I call it? In Your Face Cream? And I just like threw that out. And he went, yes, you are.
Wow.
And he gets to his computer and he types all in block in your, and he literally did that logo just like that. And I think he had my name bigger, and I'm like, take it off. He's like, all right, I'll just make it smaller. And then, okay, make it all in lower. And then I called my husband. No, I texted my husband that, and I'm like, what do you think of that name? And he writes back, like, immediately, just bought the domain on GoDaddy.
Love that. I love that.
So, you know, that's collaborating with someone and that's the other thing. Get help. I don't mean like it, you know, really collaborate on some of these creative things with people that's what they do. and ask for favors. Oh my God, people ask me for favors all the time. I can't believe how many favors I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to all the time, but I do. And that's actually what makes me feel good.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So if you're helping other people, God damn it, stop being a martyr and ask someone else for help. Because people, you're just think of it as you're giving someone an opportunity to get out of their own head and do something beautiful, which then is going to make their day better.
Yeah.
You know, so if you have, even if it's a survey, hey, which title for a course do you like the best? You know, you don't always have to do a whole Facebook survey. Just ask 3 or 4 friends, you know, because if you're thinking about doing something and you're thinking, write it down and just email 1 or 2 friends. Hey, what do you like the best? Which color, which logo? It gets the ball going, and you start to get agreement for your project, and then that feeds you.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. You're amazing. We've been on here for an hour, and I'm so well. My arms are starting to hurt watching your arms.
I know. I'm like
holding that phone up like that. I'm like, you got it. I'm always very mindful of other people. So I just, I'm being mindful. So
no, it's exercise, please. Isometrics. Good. We all need it.
You don't have a doorway there to do chin-ups?
I'm actually right in front of the doorway. Of course.
I freaking love it. So how can people follow you?
Very quietly. Just don't let me know.
Oh my God. You are amazing.
You know, DeniceDuff.com. I have a little mailing list there. They can get on DeniceDuff.com. Denice Duff with a C, like they can see here on Facebook.
With a C.
Instagram, Denice Duff with a C, all one word. Yeah. I try and keep it all the same. My Facebook, what do you call it? Your public page, your friendly page.
Yeah.
I call it
your personal page.
Yeah, it's like it's full, but I kind of start to go through and so it's the other one. So I have the other one too. I think it's the Denice Duff.
Okay, so you have a fan page, a public page, and then you have a personal page.
That's personal.
Yeah.
The personal page has got like 4,999. So I keep trying to
Yeah, I know. And that's a I'll tell you, it was just 4.5 years ago that I met Grant Cardone. I know you're friends with Grant and Elena. I know you're really good friends with Elena, I believe, right? And I can remember I had 250, 300 friends maybe. And man, I learned so much from him about expansion. You got to start take the fear out of the equation. Accept friends, accept everybody. You're going to have to weed people out anyway in life. So, start there.
That's right. I've known Grant and Elena since before they were Grant and Elena, or since before they were married. I was friends with both of them separately. And, I was there with their home birth of their daughter for both of them. And, but I really got, Grant would have these fun parties at his house. We'd go over and play Mafia. And, and I, when he had his TV show on National Geographic, the Turnaround King, is that?
Yeah.
And I got to just see him start growing more from just this guy that would go out and travel and speak to car dealers to wanting to do more bigger, like helping business on a big scale, regardless of what it is that you sell. And, and he started doing more videos and he would send more emails and people would be like, oh my God, are ready with Grant's emails. And I never wanted to unsubscribe to anything because I know that when you outflow, you inflow.
Yep.
And And then they decided to move out of LA and go to Florida to just change things up. And I remember he said one time he would go and have breakfast at the Beverly Hills Polo Lounge. And he said, number one, you don't really save money by always packing your lunch. He's like, you got to get out. And he goes, and try going to the same place all the time where you actually can build a rapport.
Yeah.
And I just always think of that, of like, some of the things that we can do to save money are actually stopping a potential social business meeting, right? So keep that in mind. And then he was one of the first people that, you know, the whole haters, right? And the more you start to expand and the more that people are saying, you're making too many videos, you're making too this. Now this was, like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And even within our own group of friends, people are like, what's happening, you know? But I just kept seeing him grow and grow. And I remember he said, you know, if you don't have enough bad comments, you're not getting big enough.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me, like, because, you know, I have people always say such lovely things, you know, and I'm like, all right, I'm not big enough. Like I'm only reaching like my public. Like you got to get so big that some of the wackadoos come in, because then, you know, your net is super wide, you know, and, you know, and like Grant and Gary are always talking, like, I'm always amazed that they talk about people who give them a hard time. I'm like, who would give those guys a hard time? But when you think about the millions of people that their net is spread to,
right,
naturally, just percentage wise, as I know from my mathematical days, you're going to get, you know, 2 to 5% of the jerks.
Yeah.
So I'm really striving for more jerks, because then that will give me proof that I'm getting getting bigger, growing.
I'm getting them. I see them, and I'm telling you, like, as I continue to expand myself, I'm like, and I always take it so personal, and that's one thing Grant's good at. I mean, I've seen him get on there and somebody say some crazy stuff to him, and he's just like, "Oh, look at that, you little bee." You know?
Right.
I always have his bracelet here. Don't be a little bee. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's it. You're right, and you've got to cast the net. You got to make it bigger. You got to keep growing and expanding. That's my belief as well.
Yeah.
So.
And it makes you. It really does. It's, you know, well, why do I have to? You feel better when you change lives of more people, and that's what we're going for. We're not just going for a big net for the sake of a big net, right?
No.
We're going for helping and inspiring more people.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, just I always have to keep reminding myself. It's like, because it is work. It's like, oh gosh, I'm, you know, even with helping my daughter on her photo shoot, I was assistant, or I wasn't helping her. I was, well, you help, but when you say help your daughter, it makes it like, it was a professional thing. She's paying me. So cute. My daughter hires me. And, you know, but I know that one of my jobs, one of my purposes is to show that sort of camaraderie amongst family, and how supporting your daughter's art or your child's art, how they can run with it. And it's, you know, I wrote an article for the Huffington Post, actually about the entertainment industry and the sort of stage mom myth to me. And how really the more kids get involved in the arts, how it can only benefit them. It doesn't mean they're going to turn out to be an actor or a singer or a comedian. But that those beginnings, the kind of confidence that it gives you, and knowing more who you are. So I like to share that with my daughter's successes, but I'm trying not to be, you know, the cheesy mom who's like trying to take a picture of my daughter taking a picture with the set behind her. And, you know, oh my God, it was like the hardest thing. I'm literally holding a light for her, and then I've got my cell phone and I'm trying to, because she's in these great poses shooting. There's a whole crew behind her. My daughter's 23 and she's, you know, on this tens of thousands of dollar photo shoot. and she's
Wow.
the star, right? She's the
That's
photographer.
that is so awesome.
It's so
And
awesome, but I'm trying to document a piece of it to
right.
inspire people,
I
not just
love that.
not just by pride. I'm like, I took care of that just by being there. But
Yeah.
when I know that that can inspire some parents, see, now I can get emotional, to say to their kid, no, you know what? You actually could make a living being fashion photographer. It's not a pipe dream. My friend Denice, her daughter, I watched her photograph this blogger who paid her thousands of dollars to do it. You know what, honey?
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, I'll help you. So
That's
that's
so
why,
awesome.
as I'm holding that light, trying to get that shot, that's what's in my head, that there's this one person I could help.
God, that's freaking awesome. You are
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like my wife is on here. I don't know if you've seen any of her comments, but she just loves you and adores you. And she's like, you know, she does that. She pushes our daughter to, like, our daughter's 7 years old. She'll be 8 in 2 weeks, but she's 7 years old. She's a dancer. She's really just, both of my daughters are very artistic like that. And
Yes.
you know, we push them. We push them to
That's right.
explore that. Go explore.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
And Grant taught me, stop telling your kids to be careful.
Yes. Yep. That was a part of, like, that's been one of my things since she was 2 years old. When we were at the park, and I would never say be careful. When we were by a street, I'd never say be careful. Yeah. You can say something specific, like, notice that the curb there kind of drops down, hun, you know.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Feel the slide. It might be a little hot before you go up it. But to just say be careful, what the hell does that do? It's just
right.
It was never a helpful piece of advice.
Right. Instills fear. It instills fear. And I don't want that for my kids. So Denice, listen, I don't want to keep you on here all day. I know you've got like Hollywood shit to go do. But like, you rock. Like, you seriously rock. And I love watching, like, you do some of the coolest videos. Like, I'm a huge Casey Neistat fan, and the way that he edits and films, and you know who he is, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so you do some very similar things in your, and no, seriously, like, you're amazing. Some of the editing you do, and the jump cuts or whatever they're called, and the like, oh God, I love that. In fact, I'm a video editor as well. I do some. I'm not on your level, but I do some, and I'm, you know, I try to emulate that sometimes, like doing those quick little jump cuts and like, I love that. So
sometimes it's because I wanted to edit out the F word, or I lift my lips in a weird way. I'm like, I'm editing that out, or I was pausing and I'm like, you know what? People ain't got time for my pause. Like, I'm always thinking of the viewer. We want to move this along. And then what's funny, you know, I love that, oh, that's a funny cut, you know?
Yeah.
So it's storytelling. And I'm always thinking of, it's not even like, oh, what shot do I look good in? It's what's funny and what's interesting to look at, and we'll move this along. And I watch a video, it'll be 15 minutes on the timeline. I watch it, I edit it down to 5, and then I watch it again from the viewpoint of someone who doesn't know me, who's bored as shit with me. And then I'm like, oh yeah. I'm always thinking of someone who's already bored of me.
Well, see, you're like the least vain person I know. Although you have many reasons you could be vain, you're not. You're like I've seen you do live streams where you're putting on a freaking mask, or you just got out of the shower and you're like, here's how you do your makeup, which I'm like, okay, I don't need to watch that. But like, you know, you're just transparent and real, and you pursue life with a freaking fervor, with a passion. And I think that people need to see that is possible, that you're not, you are special, but you're not special comparatively, right?
God,
like,
no.
Everybody is, it's there for everybody. Everybody could be standing in a mansion or wherever you are right now doing what you're doing, right? It's amazing. And so people need to feel that. They need to own that. That place is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You rock. You rock. So what other any
Oh,
last parting words you'd like to say?
last part that you should take the thing I said 15 minutes ago and edit that as the ending. I feel like we've had so many great endings.
I
The editor
know.
and me.
I know. But I see,
You know,
I take the Facebook, I take these interviews and just raw.
okay.
They're just raw.
Well, when I did them, I actually put mine afterwards into iMovie, and I trimmed it. I would always have to trim the first 10 minutes with my actresses where I was saying, turn the phone, go this way, go. And
Well, I
then the
may
video,
have to trim this one, the internet issue we had.
that's right, because we just want to get right to the meat. You don't want to lose anybody because, come on, this was fun,
Yeah, you're right.
But so let's just use the and now what, right? You're bummed out, things aren't going well, and now what, right?
Wow. Amen.
Yeah, we're all there. We all got loud stuff going on around us,
Yeah.
and just keep creating. B12, fun music, go take a walk, write down your stellar, highfalutin, they'll never happen goals. Just write them down, because a lot of stuff that you've done at this point in your life, you almost couldn't believe some of those things have happened, right? So now you're on, it's a whole, life is in you today. As LRH says, life is in you today, and you make your tomorrows.
That's right. That's right.
So
You're amazing.
Thank you.
You're amazing. Hey, a bunch of people have asked for your face cream. So
all right. All right.
Thank you so much.
This week.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on.
I adore you. I'm giving you all my little hearts here. And this was my breakfast. This is one of the reasons I think I stay trim, is when you're living life like this, I never once thought about food. So thank you.
And guess what? The swelling, I think, went down.
Oh my gosh. Like so much.
I think it's like almost gone. Wow.
Yeah.
You rock.
I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Love you too. Thank you,
you.
Denice. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.